Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk and share about a psychic story. I've got a couple of them, and I know that a lot of clients and a lot of people like to hear some of these stories that I experience with my clients. I recently just had a client that revisited me after about a year, and she saw me, and such a sweet girl. I really liked her. And I asked her how she was, and after we got into this, session, I said, "So what's going on? Talk to me." And she says, "Susan, I've got to tell you something." She said, a loved one had passed. And she said, "And I just don't know if you can make contact." And I said, "I'm sorry, I am." And I saw the hurt in her eyes, the pain. And I said, "I'll try, okay?" So all of a sudden, I see this male, and it was a very male energy, and he was a young guy. And I said, "It's a male, and I see him in water." And she goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay." And all of a sudden, I see a ski jet. I says, "Did he have an accident?" And I go, and I feel like it was a very fast passing. And she goes, "Yes." And she did. She started to cry. And I said, "Do you want me to stop?" And she said, No, just keep going because you've got him." I said, "Okay, but was this an accident regarding a ski jet?" She said, "Yes." I said, "It was a very fast passing, and this is why, but he's showing me he's holding on." Anyway, she composed herself, and I said, "Here's what happened. He hit his head. He lost his balance. And honestly," I said, "what he went through with the accident on the bump of his head kind of spiraled. So he had a lot of traumatic brain injury. I see a lot of blood." And she goes, "He was bleeding a lot. And he was face down in the water." So she says, "They don't know if he kind of drowned." I said, "He didn't. It was more of the head." So I want to say it spiraled from the head into the water with him drowning a little bit. Well, she told me they had him on life support and everybody got to say goodbye. And I said, "I am so incredibly sorry." Now, ironically, she brought this to my attention, and most of the times, and I do tell clients, I'll remember your face, I'll remember your name. I will not remember my session. Because it's not that I do a lot of sessions and this is why I forget. When I get the messages, they're for your ears only. As I'm the messenger, okay? I'm like the postman. I'm going to deliver your mail, as they say, or your message, and that's it. It's not for me to hold. It's for you to absorb and for you to take. So she said to me, "I don't know if you remember," but she said, "I had recorded our session and I played it back. And in the session, you kept seeing a sudden accident." I said, "Did I?" And she says, "Yeah. Not only did you see a sudden accident," she said, "but you kept seeing a flag." And I was listening to her, and she said, "Now you see the flag," and you asked, "Is there somebody in the armed forces? Did somebody get killed somewhere?" And I said, "No, we've got nobody like that. Nobody. And you were really adamant about what you were seeing." And I'm listening, and she said, "It wasn't until after what happened to my cousin that I took out your tape and I started listening to it from last year." And she said, "I know you're a medium, but now I understand what psychic ability is, and you have psychicness." And she said, "You were seeing something that didn't happen yet." She said, "You saw my cousin pass in a sudden accident, and you kept seeing the flag. My parents have a lake house, and this happened on the 4th of July. I was taken back by that, and I just couldn't believe it. So it's interesting sometimes, and this is why I want to bring this to your attention. When you go and you see a psychic medium, especially someone that you value, okay? Not somebody that tells you a lot of crazy stuff, but somebody that you have really connected with or you have a rapport with, and they may tell you something. It may sound a little strange or you can't comprehend it. Don't rule it out. Many times when I say something to people, if it doesn't manifest within a month or a year, she just, that didn't happen. That was wrong what she said. You have to give it time. So when you come in and you really are open to that, again, I have to remind you there are no time limits to what I see. Okay, so keep the perspective, because my client said the same thing. Tell you the truth, I really didn't think about it much, and I just thought, okay, maybe she was off on one thing, but she was pretty good on the rest of the reading. And it took me a year, a little over a year, to play back that tape, and I'm like, oh my God, Susan, you saw it all right there, in spades, as they call it. So it was sad, it was very heartfelt, and my heart bled for this family because it was a tragedy on the 4th of July, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So yeah, she gets it. She was enlightened. And she did come back and she did tell me about it, and I was appreciative, and I did help her connect with her cousin, and that made all the difference in the world because he had his personal messages that he wanted to deliver to her and to his family. So this was what was really good. So the session was very nice. There was another woman that I saw 2 weeks ago, and I just adored this woman, and I could see the grief. And she told me that she wanted to make a connection with her husband. And she came right out and said, I want to meet with my husband. I want to see if he'll come forward. I says, okay. And I started to talk to her about some other things to get her a little relaxed. And all of a sudden, her husband came bebopping in. He stepped forward. And I said, you know, it's interesting. Your husband was a very healthy man. And she goes, he was. I said, did he go on a trip before he passed? And she said, yes, he did. I said, okay, there's a reason I'm coming to this. He keeps telling me, now I says I had a very bad heaviness on my chest and on my heart. I felt like I had 200 pounds on it. So my breathing started getting compromised because I do feel what spirit passes. My body, I always say, takes a beating because I actually feel what they go through. I said, I want to say that your husband had a heart attack, but you weren't there. So was he doing an errand? Was he going out somewhere? Because I see him just collapsing. And she said he went to the post office and he collapsed. I said, okay. And she goes, I just don't understand how this could have happened. I said, he's telling me he had a blood clot from traveling. And he wasn't feeling good when he came back. And he told you that. And he just figured he was under the flu or he was getting some kind of bug. And she goes, he did tell me that. Oh my God. She said, yes. I said, this is exactly how your husband passed. He had a blood clot that touched his heart, and that's why he had a massive heart attack. But it was amazing to see that this spirit and his love for his wife and all of the things that he would say to her, and I started to repeat. And she said, that's exactly what he would say to me. This is exactly how he said this. And I got to tell you, it brought comfort. As much pain as what this woman went through, there was a degree of peace. I got the most loveliest email from her about a couple of days later telling her how scared she was to start a new transition, a new chapter in her life. But this really brought peace and comfort. And he was actually dictating to her to what she should do next. And it was everything that they spoke that I knew nothing of. I said, please sell your house. He wants you to sell your house. He wants you to go and get the job. He wants you to go to another state. And she goes, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I said, there you go. She goes, I know he's really speaking to me. I said, he is. I had another one. It was such a lovely niece that came. And I made contact with her aunt, amongst other spirits in her family, her grandmother, you know, her father that passed. But ironically, she had a special bond with her aunt. I said, your aunt's coming through and she loves you so much. And I said, she keeps saying that you have something of hers. And she goes, do you know what it is? And I kind of paused. I didn't see anything. And all of a sudden, I got the most sharpest pain in my left kidney. I said, do you have her kidney? And she goes, yeah. She gave me her kidney. I says, oh my God. I almost started to cry because I thought, how beautiful. And at the same time, my kidney was hurting, so I can say something about the kidney. Spirit works in many ways, people. You have to understand it. It is there, it's true, and it happens every single day. So when you're open to it, I say it, and I say it again, more will come. Anybody having an experience of a session with me, have some questions ready. Be open. And you know what? Just be open to what comes through. And you will be surprised by how many lovely messages you're going to get from the other side, from your family, your friends, just anything, even direction in the present life. So those are some of the stories I wanted to share with you. I love you all. I love all of you in so many different ways because every day you help me teach me. So for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to everybody's family who's passed, that I learn from spirits every day as much as I learn from my clients, which is you. So never do I take any of you for granted. So please keep the questions coming on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube because everything has a message. Okay? Until next time, much, much love to all of you. Take care. Bye-bye.